The instant you part your lips to justify your actions, you already surrendered. Envision it. The accusation strikes a sly dig at a cocktail gathering, a doubt cast on your skills in a boardroom showdown, a partner twisting your intentions into knots. Cause lower voice for intensity. Heat surges through your veins. Cortisol floods your system. Your mind panics. You're being misconstrued. The truth is warped. You must rectify it now. So you speak, you elucidate, you rationalize, you provide backstory, and in that precise beat, you've bared your jugular. Why? Because the world doesn't weigh you by the veracity of your words. It evaluates you by the frenzy in your tone. The explainer? They're the submissive one. The defender? They bow to the accuser's dominion. Niccolo Machiavelli, the unrivaled strategist of human leverage, grasped a savage reality that today's culture has tried to eradicate from your core. He knew power isn't about righteousness, it's about controlling the narrative. And the second you defend, you enter their arena. You morph into the accused in their tribunal. But imagine if you didn't. What if, when the assault hits, you unleash the one maneuver that petrifies manipulators beyond measure? Most souls drift through existence as marionettes, yanked by the whims of others' judgments. A scowl, they apologize. An allegation, they clarify. They dwell in perpetual retreat, scrambling to prove their goodness, brilliance, or worth. It's a soul-crushing existence, a gradual asphyxiation of the spirit. Yet there's an alternative path, a mode of navigating life so aloof, so autonomous, so psychologically impervious that barbs don't merely deflect. They evaporate before contact. This isn't about frostiness or hubris. It's a radical realignment of your reality's source. Today, we'll dissect the psyche of non-defense. We'll explore how your biology sabotages you in these crucibles and how to override it with a Machiavelli-approved blueprint. I'll reveal how to invert the power equation on the spot, how to shatter the attacker's grip on reality, how to wield silence not as emptiness, but as an ego-obliterating arsenal. But heed this, it demands slaying a piece of yourself you've nurtured since infancy, the craving to be comprehended, the hunger for approval. Slay it, and you turn lethal. You become unreachable. Let's dive in. Why do you crumble? Why, when challenged, is your reflex to parade proof of your blamelessness? It traces back to childhood. Recall being 5, facing a parent's or teacher's reproach. What was your sole escape from retribution? Justification. I didn't shatter, it tumbled. I didn't strike him, he struck first. You internalized that authorities wield judgment's scepter, and your survival hinged on persuading them of your virtue. The snag. You matured, but your subconscious lagged. You roam the globe, casting that authoritative shadow over everyone. Your superior, your lover, the online troll, even foes. Defending against them subconsciously screams, "You're the arbiter, I'm the subordinate. Validate my plea for security." It exudes frailty, and humans, primal beasts, detect that submission stench from afar. Machiavelli decreed, "It's safer to be feared than loved." In today's social labyrinth, translated, safer to be revered than deciphered. When you scramble to defend, you're valuing comprehension over esteem. You're pleading, "Grasp me, see my heart." But a monarch doesn't expound his edicts to serfs. A predator doesn't rationalize its kill to prey. The moment you prattle, cite motives, unearth messages, dredge history to vindicate yourself, you broadcast that your inner equilibrium hinges on their ascent. You've handed over your fortress key, and with it, they can ransack at will. This is the snare of the validation addict. You fantasize, if I articulate it flawlessly, they'll concede. "Ah, you're correct, I erred." How often does that transpire? Rarely, because the assault wasn't factual, it was dominion. They didn't seek truth. They sought to test if you'd leap. And you did. The inaugural stride to invincibility. Recognize the courtroom's illusion. No magistrate, no panel. Merely you and your reality lens. Cease viewing others as judges, and their indictments lose sentencing weight. They become mere murmurs. Noise. So, what unfolds when you abstain from leaping? Picture it. A verbal dagger flies. You're utterly self-absorbed right now. The old you, no, I'm not. I sacrificed XYZ yesterday. I'm drained, reactive, frail. Now, the Machiavellian pivot, they hurl it. You lock eyes, unflinching. Face a mask of neutrality, let the hush stretch 3, 4, 5 seconds. In that void, a psychological abyss. Brains dread conflict silence. It fractures social norms, signals game abandonment. By muting, you reflect their force back. You compel them to stew in their brood turmoil. Typically, they fracture. They babble to breach the gap. Well, not always, just presently. Why that stare? They defend against your stillness. Power inverted. This elevates the grey rock tactic to lethal art. You embody the abyss. Abyss can't be assaulted. Can't strike vapor. Can't slash liquid. Denying defensive friction lets their strike pierce through, destabilizing them. It demands ironclad self-mastery. Your ego howls, retaliate, whip back, prove, chain that beast. Machiavelli knew supreme power belongs to the inscrutable. Defense exposes your tenets, your vulnerabilities, your triggers. I'm not dim. Now they pinpoint your intellect phobia. I'm not vile. Your morality Achilles' heel. Silence conceals all. A shadowy mirror. Gazing in, they behold only their hostility reflected, breeding unease. Irony, you utter nothing, yet they feel scrutinized. Occasionally, silence suffices not. Context demands speech, but never defensive, never counterforce. Redirect, like conversational judo. Dark psychologies agree and amplify, induces cognitive turmoil. Absurd charge, defense affirms its gravity. Instead, embrace and inflate till absurdity reigns. Accuser, you're money-obsessed. Greedy. Defensive, no, I'm not. I merely provide for kin. Dull, foreseeable, weak. Machiavellian, busted. I bathe in gold vaults like Scrooge McDuck Tuesdays. Ruins my spine. Deliver with deadpan or wry grin in voice. Result? Refuse insult. Prove nonchalance. Transform grave assault into farce. Claim narrative control. Disarm them. They aimed to wound. You commandeered their blade for fruit peeling. Signals amused supremacy peak status. Parental poise amid toddler fury. No rage, no debate. Amused by spectacle, secure in safety. Defense? Rolling in tantrum muck. Rise. Gaze down. Grin. Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, Law 25, recreate yourself. Reject imposed identities. They box you. Combat the box, you're entangled. Mock it, it dissolves. You're arrogant. Charming confidence suits better, but proceed. You care for none but self. Working on it. I'll slot you in next year's care roster. Ruthless. Dismissive. Magnetic. Why? It broadcasts wholeness, no validation needed for self-knowledge. The generous chuckle at stingy calls, the astute at dim. Defense betrays fearing their accuracy. That's the inner excavation required. Delve into interactions' hidden framework. Conflicts erect judge-defendant dynamics. Judge interrogates, why that, what thought, who presume you are. Defendant responds, conceding power. Most Machiavellian gambit, reject defendant role, usurp judge. Counter question or dissect their conduct. Them, why perpetually tardy? Defensive, traffic's jammed, alarm failed. Status loss. Machiavellian, why does my timing rattle you so? Boom, shift, not clocks, but their fragility. Spotlight on them. Them, ridiculous. Machiavellian, what drives labeling for emphasis? Real-time psychoanalysis. Enrages manipulators. They crave your imbalance. You circle, scrutinize like lab specimen. Fascinating perception. Does voicing that soothe? Deeply engrossed, Verbal bulwarks. Acknowledge utterance, reject essence. Boundary as force field, yours, not mine. Retain it. This transcends tactic, its ethos. Realize others' views, irrelevant. Their ire, their burden, their letdown, their load. Defense, lugging their baggage, mending their emotions. Cease, let them heft. Now paradox, fiercest, most assertive counter. Agree but, abyssically, not capitulation. Abyss accord, screaming tirade listing flaws, baiting brawl. Meet eyes, utter calmly, you're right. Halt, You're right, I can be taxing. You're right, I erred there. Fogging, hurl stone into mist, vanishes. Agree, momentum stolen. They push locked door. You swing open, they tumble. Crave clash. Resistance fuels fury. Accord diffuses, norms, affirm factual kernel, shun attached stigma. Distinguish error admission from character slaughter. You botched the report, you're inept. Defense, not inept, data flawed. Power, correct. Errors abound, I'll rectify. Omit nept, own deed, not label. Signals unshakable poise. Secure folk admit slips fluidly. Oops, my fault. Insecure wage wars. Machiavelli, disarm foe. Sheath sword, theirs looks absurd. Deflate sails, they seem frenzied. You, anchored. History favors the grounded. Ineffective if mere ploy. Trembling voice, shifty gaze, pleading aura. Fails. Dark psychology, 20% lexicon, 80% non-verbal dominion. Forge inner scaffold for silence. Back to shadow, why sting? They prod extant wounds. Call green-skinned, laugh, dismiss. Call failure, defend if suspect truth. Ultimate shield, self-insight. Embrace flaws, shadows. Known selfish, sometimes yes. Known cruel, I can be. Can't shame the self-accepted. Can't expose the unveiled. Untouchable, integrated self. Transparent. Light arrows pass, no fortress to guard, you're the gale. Challenge, 7 days, no defense game. Forbid explanations. Late, I'm late. Spill coffee? Spilled. Misunderstood? Endure. Feel fix impulse, perception management, goodness compulsion. Let incinerate. Observe reactions. Confusion yields respect, then allure certainty, magnetizes. Reclaim vitality, seal soul leaks, exit child role, enter sovereign, world tense relapse, Bates reactions, deny, preserve enigma, preserve hush, deny, preserve hush.